respond?
Well, a recent NBC News Decision Desk poll finds Trump's overall approval rating is at 43%. That's similar to his standing in June. When it comes to economic issues, 39% support his handling of inflation. 59% disapprove of the tariffs and trade negotiations. On the issue of immigration, 47% approve of the president's handling of border security. But when asked if they support deportation efforts, 43% said yes, 57% disapprove. Senator Mark Kelly is also highlighting the impact of the Trump administration's immigration and deportation policies. Here's a video the Arizona Democrat posted to social media.
Hey, folks, I'm here at the ICE facility in Eloy, where I just met with two women, Kelly and Maria, who are in custody, who I think by any reasonable standard should not be in custody here at this ICE facility. One is a business owner in the Phoenix area, has 3 restaurants, 70 employees, revenue of over $3 million a year. She's a job creator, and now she's at risk of deportation. Or a mom of a U.S. Marine who was just visiting her son at Yuma on base and is now in detention for months, who actually has a bond to get out of detention, but ICE refuses to release her. Folks, you know, we've swung from a bad place in one direction to now a bad place in the other direction. And it's a challenging time for our country. But I think we need immigration policy that promotes strong border security, but at the same time treats people, you know, with some empathy and with some respect. And I think under any reasonable standard, any person would tell you that the 2 individuals that I met with today in this facility should not be deported from our country.
Joe, your take on what the senator said. He talked about these 2 issues, and there are many like them happening across the country.
All across the country. And again, this goes back to what we said at 6 o'clock. Mm-hmm. You know, that we heard during the transition, we heard at the beginning of the term, oh, we're going to just go after the criminals. We're going after the hardened criminals. We're going after the really, really bad illegal immigrants, and we're going to send them home. Well, we've seen time and time again, people who are, as the senator said here, people who are creating jobs, people who are small business owners, people who are hiring American citizens to work, to support their families, are being rounded up and thrown in jail. And one even, again, should be even more disturbing. A woman who was visiting her son on a Marine base is grabbed and deported. A woman who raised her son to be a United States Marine and protect and defend this country is deported, is seized and thrown in an ICE detention center. And as the senator said, may be there for months. These are the hardened criminals we heard about on the campaign trail. But, you know, Chris Matthews, we showed the poll numbers. And I will say, we were warning. I'll speak about myself specifically, but other people on set were warning for several years about how the crime issue would help Donald Trump get reelected or help Republicans win elections, that the issue of a porous border would do the same. And just as the senator said there, we had a bad situation before where the border, you had so many people coming across the border illegally, and people turned on Democrats. It's one of the reasons Democrats have very low approval ratings. I want you to look at these numbers, though, Chris.
Yeah.
So what does Donald Trump do? So instead of talking about inflation, where his numbers are very bad right now, and that should be very bad news. He doesn't want to talk about inflation, so he'll talk about crime and the National Guard and Shapocalypse Now. Instead of talking about tariffs, what will he do? Or what will Republicans do? They'll talk about trans. They'll desperately search newspapers. They'll desperately search news clips anywhere across America. We're just praying they can find a story about trans. And if they're really lucky, a trans athlete, so they don't have to talk about inflation. They don't have to talk about trade and tariffs. And they don't have to talk about the way the deportations are being handled. You look at the economy. This is CBS. Donald Trump is minus 18 on the economy. On inflation, CBS News says he's minus 28 on inflation. So, Chris, the president, the White House, Republicans, they don't want to talk about inflation. So they'll talk about crime and they'll talk about trans. And again, instead of Democrats standing there and being shocked and stunned and deeply saddened like Democrats always are, they need to take these issues away from the president. And as I said a month ago, talk about the cost of living, talk about inflation, talk about the economy. And if they do that, they win.
Well, you know, in the real world, you can see things and you judge things by what you can see. First of all, the border's been closed since Trump got into office, and nobody's complained about it. I said this before, no Hispanic leader, nobody's complained because they know the border was open under Biden. They know it. That's why we had the surge. So millions of people from China and everywhere poured into this country illegally. Trump was right on that issue, and he is right in closing the border. But the deportations are not going to be popular because anybody with common sense says if you've been here as an American and you obeyed the law and paid your tax and paid into Social Security, in which you'll never get anything out of, you've been a good American. And people don't like those people being pulled out of the country or sent to somewhere. They don't like it, and they don't, and especially when they've been here a number of years. As Trump said about the guys who work on the farms out in California, they should stay here. The people who work in hotels should stay here. Well, so should a lot of those people who've been here for a long time. And the other thing he doesn't understand is you can't keep talking about a Democratic hoax about Epstein. These women out there who were victims of Epstein, and Maxwell spent 20 years in prison for this. This is a real crime. It's not a hoax. These are real faces with real memories, and someday they're going to sit them in front of mugshot, and they're going to looking for pictures of people they remember that they were hurt by. And I'm telling you, this thing is real because people people are conscious. You know, they know what's going on. Trump keeps acting like people aren't conscious. People know what's going on. If there's crime, they know it. If they hear about crime, they know about it. They knew the border's been closed. They say, good. You've done a good job on that one. Now leave the other people alone. I think Trump is beginning to get a little bit ethereal. He's beyond people now. He was good at knowing what people were up to now. He doesn't understand. When you see those faces of those women from Jeffrey Epstein out in front of the Capitol, look at those faces. They're not miserable, but they have memories. And they know that what's done to them by Epstein and his pals. And they're going to get those names out. No more pages. Nobody wants pages. They want faces and names. They want to know who were the bad guys. And Trump keeps acting like he doesn't know this. He knows it. That's why he's fighting it. This guy is aware at some level of what's going on in the country, but he's fighting it because it's not in his interest. He must have pals in that group or somebody in that group or something because he doesn't want it out. But the American people's attention right now is on Epstein and listening to the people fighting for Epstein. All the Democrats in Congress are voting for this discharge petition. This is real, and he's got to deal with it, and he may not be able to do it.
Yeah. And before we go to break, I mean, we don't know if he has friends in there, but I think there are a lot of people who want more answers when it comes to this case, that's for sure.